map plans for
Yeah,
2020.
let's do that.
That sounds
Because
good.
I think we can run through them pretty quick. There's not a lot to talk about, really.
And honestly, like the game of the generation stuff, I'm just kind of looking for a discussion. We don't have to go like super in depth. We can just,
Yeah.
each pick like a couple games per year to talk about roundtable style. I figure we just go round twice each year and be like, hey, these are the two games that I felt were the best for that year.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That way, we can give a little bit more credence to one game per person. Because I have a feeling a few of these we're going to have a lot of similars on, and we can just kind of chime in there as needed.
I got no problems with that, given the fact that a
All
lot
right.
of the games I did not play. So,
See, exactly. So that's a good segue to talking about that.
all right. So, I am ready whenever you guys are. So,
Count me in, Marlon.
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the AEG show. First episode of 2020. I'm joined by my rock, Marlon. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
And then, of course, JB.
Hello.
Yeah, and I'm hosting this week, guys. It's my third episode hosting, so you're in for a treat.
Right?
Marlon tore it up last time we
No, I did
recorded, but we decided not to
Sure
release the
did.
episode as of right now. So we're gonna have a few things to talk about tonight. The main thing we're gonna start off with, though, we want to talk about a little bit about 2020, what you're gonna see from AEG in 2020, and we've got a few changes. One, we pretty much put out a weekly episode last year, almost every week, right up until I would say all the way through October, right, guys?
I think
Yeah,
for the
We
most
were
part,
weekly
yeah.
all the way through October. Maybe missed like 1 or 2 weeks. And to be honest with you, it got exhausting. We're all working full-time jobs. Marlon's working 2 jobs. Jeff works, his full time. I work a lot over the summer, and we still manage to put out an episode every week. So I think what we accomplished in 2019 was incredible. You know what I mean? I want to give you guys all props on air while we're on the subject.
Appreciate it.
You guys picked up the slack for me in the summertime, and then but all of us at some point cracked under that pressure. We all had to step away for a little bit because it just became too much. We started this. Marlon, Jeff, and I started this back in 2017.
Yeah, wow, it's
And-
been 3 years now.
It's been almost 3 years. Yeah, and
In March, it'll be 3 years.
we started this as it was supposed to be fun, like get together. We started mostly just streaming. We didn't have a podcast or even any plans of a podcast. We started in 2017 as Average Everyday Gaming. We kept the acronym, but we've kind of moved on from the Average Everyday Gaming a little bit, and
Yeah, we ain't average anymore.
You can say
we'll
that
continue
again.
we'll continue to grow from there. But basically, 2020 is going to be different. We're not going to put out a weekly episode. I made the announcement a couple days ago on Twitter. We'll be here when there's something to talk about. We got some shit to say. We're going to be right here. We're going to be recording episodes, and we'll still put out. I'm sure we're still going to put out a good chunk of episodes in 2020. I just don't think we're going to put out 50 episodes in 2020. Maybe half of that if we're lucky here. So, but like I said, there's going to be no filler content. We're all full-time workers. If something happens and we start making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this, then we'll give you all the fucking filler you guys want.
Yeah, we'll record every day if we want. if we
Yeah,
have
we'll
to.
become
Lord.
like the Howard Stern show of podcasts.
Right.
But yeah, we'll
Oh yeah, I can already see that going. Like, all right, JB, please tell us what happened to you last night when you went out drinking with your buddies. Looks to me like you end up
Yeah,
with
no.
a freaking dildo up your ass. What happened there? Like, nah, come on, bro. Fucking Howard Stern, man. Jesus Christ.
point being though is we will be there for you guys. We're going to continue to be there. We have a loyal stream of listeners. If we look at our numbers on our Podbean, it's pretty much the same number every week. So we grow like maybe by a listener or 2 every week. So it's not about that. It's not about. It's about having fun.
Yeah.
Bringing a good informative show to everybody that does listen, because we see you. We know you're listening, so we appreciate you. And we definitely want to be there for you. So I know Jeff has a few plans with actual streaming this year. I don't know if you want to go into that at all now, Jeff, or if
Yeah,
you want to wait.
No, yeah, I can kind of make a blanket announcement. I do want to get back to doing The Grind, which is a show that my friend Dan and I, Colt, and I did end of last year. And I'd like to kind of turn it into something a little different. I know Dalton and I kind of talked a little, breaking the fourth wall here behind the scenes. But one of the things we kind of wanted to do is get back to what we originally kind of started this as, whereas instead of just like Colt and I just playing games together, maybe get like a 4-person something going, like find a 4-player game that we can all play together, go to bed, like shit, we could all download Destiny, the original Destiny, and like get on there and just play some fucking strikes and random shit.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen.
You're
brother.
gonna do it, Marlon. You're gonna like
that ain't gonna happen, and I'll tell you why that's not gonna happen.
Stop it. Okay, maybe we'll play Destiny 2, because we'll probably at least have fun playing that.
There's 100 different games that you can pick up that doesn't have to be Destiny.
You know
can
what
pick
I'm saying.
Monster Hunter World, for crying out loud. That's a
All
good
right,
one to do
all right.
about.
We could do Monster Hunter World. I'd be all right with that.
Given the
I think we
fact
all
that
own-
that game is literally a fucking grind.
Right, exactly. It fits the title. But yeah, instead of just doing, like little bits and pieces, maybe expanding a little bit more to have everybody in the AEG show group participate, I think would be something to look forward to. I've been kind of thinking about mulling over some ideas, and when I have those ideas in place, I will announce them.
Honestly, if the grind is one of those ideas where in paper you're thinking why would anyone do this, but then when you put into actual practicality, like let's say for example that 5-6 years from now we're completely huge, and that's a great show to have listeners and actual audience come in and play with us video games, stuff like that, because it allows us to have a little reach out to the community that we have built over the years. And that's the thing that I would like to see, like the grind end up, or something. Doesn't have to be the grind, but something close to that,
something along those lines.
Where we can just interact with our fan base and just have fun with it, because at the end of the day, this was created for us to just have fun with friends, and be able to just enjoy video games and just enjoy those things,
Yep.
And it became too much.
It became too much.
Yeah.
Because we all have responsibilities, like Dalton said, and we cannot be doing this 24/7, 365 days, even though we try.
I'd love to,
but it is impossible for anyone to do it and not get burned out.
It's just not
us
feasible.
right now. That's just
along with a full-time job or 2 full-time jobs and stuff like that. Or Dalton having kids and stuff like that. It gets too much. So since we're in this little segment right here, and I don't want to cut off Dalton or Jeff, but I just want to basically me personally, I just want to thank every single person who has been, and will be on the show. I appreciate every person that we have had here as a guest, even though some of the people that we have had here over the years have not been the most truthful and the most forthcoming when it comes to certain things that they do. But at the end of the day, every person that has been on the show, I would like to, because I'm not an asshole, give a thanks for just giving a little bit of their time to be on the show. Yeah.
Absolutely, Marlon. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I posted a tweet the other day thanking the guests we've had on the show. I think Marlon is encompassing everybody that's been on the show,
right.
Which I appreciate you bringing that up, Marlon, because I actually completely forgot about that. So yeah, like Marlon said, thank you everyone that's been on the show. That's been a part of AEG as a whole as well. Because when we originally started this out, we did, Marlon and I had no plans of doing a podcast.
No.
We started out, we were streaming. Marlon and I were streaming games. We're playing Destiny. We're having a good fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, we were streaming games and nobody was watching. Not a single person, but we didn't give a shit. Like, we had so much fun. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember the last time I have streamed a game. Like, I don't count the Gran Turismo series. That's its own thing. I don't remember the last time I've streamed a game. I know, Jeff, you streamed a couple times in 2019 with The Grind.
yeah.
Marlon, I think the last time you streamed was when you played Wolfenstein. I want to say.
Yeah,
And-
and I still need to go back and finish that because I actually have being really crappy about that.
Yeah,
Not
you
gonna
do.
lie.
'Cause that game's awesome.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing though too and that's kind of where I was going with this, Jeff and Marlon. The show took over. The show took over everything we did at AEG, and while I want to say that the show is still going to be the bread and butter because we are the AEG show, like that's what we are. But it took over. It became all that we were. We were one dimensional. Albeit I want to say like in 2019 we were very good. Like we put out a lot of good episodes. Like we put out a lot of great content, but it became all that we were. And I don't want to be that one-dimensional gaming podcast. That's all we do. It got to the point where none of us were even playing games anymore. We
just were doing the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We were just doing the podcast.
We're just
Yep.
trying to get everything done in the podcast to basically just do it. It's the fact when you are doing anything, right, and this is just anything in general, when you creating a hobby, let's say for example your video games, and you decide to make a business decision, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna make this more than just me playing video games. I want to make it entertaining. I want to make it something like a YouTuber or like a podcaster or something like that. It takes away from the enjoyment of the hobby. And this is one thing that my old teachers used to say: if you're gonna make your hobby into a job, you better find another hobby, because otherwise you're gonna get burned out.
Yes.
And
we all did. We all got burned
Absolutely.
out.
because
But
it's
how
just
many
not
how many
fun.
times did we record, guys, from November to the end of December? What, 3 times?
Yeah,
3 times?
something like that.
And one of those was
If
the Game
that.
Awards. One of those was the Game Awards, so it wasn't even a full episode. Like that wasn't even like an episode that we released. That was just a live show.
It wasn't
So-
even us about playing video games. It was just basically us reacting to the video game awards,
Which was fun. We're gonna be doing that every year, if we
Yeah,
can.
I love that. I want to do that with E3 this year. If you can show me how to set it up, Dalton, I would love to do that. If you're not able to make it
Oh,
during
it's
that
pretty easy,
time,
man.
yeah, I would
yeah,
love to.
I'll
do that.
definitely show all you guys how to do it. But yeah, back to like I know we've got a couple other things we're gonna want to talk about on this episode, but like
Yeah.
right now we're kind of in the meat of AEG. We're talking this is our first episode of 2020. We're recapping 2019, talking to you guys about 2020. I think that's gonna be like the big topic this episode. And like I said, I'm glad Marlon brought it up. He thanked everyone that's been a part of this show in one way, shape, or form. We appreciate all of you, all the future people too. Marlon brought that up too. So everyone that we're going to have on this show, everyone that's been a part of the show, thank you. And I'm talking like we're ending it when we're not.
We're not. We're not.
gonna keep going.
We're just recapping what's basically has happened for the past year.
Like I said, we are going to be there for you guys in 2020. We're going to keep doing this. The AG show is alive and well, everyone. We're going to be better than ever. We're going to put out less episodes because it's got too much. And it got to the point, too, where we're bored, right? Like, we're recording just to record at this point, to put out an episode every week, and we're talking about nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not getting filler from AEG anymore.
Yeah.
You're getting full-on fucking content, and that's it. That's what
Quality.
you're getting. Yeah. And we're gonna see some streaming popping back up. You know, Jeff brought it up, and we might get Marlon back on stream. You might even see me streaming again. It's been the longest for me. Like I'm giving these guys shit, but it has been I'm the least
It's
likely
been a long-
person out of AEG to stream
You
games.
should like
The one thing that I actually wanna
not like.
stream-
Go ahead, Marlon.
I don't want to talk away from your stuff, Jeff, so I'm just going to make this really
you're good.
quickly. One thing that I would love to see Dalton stream is Monster Hunter World, since we are going to get that on that bandwagon. And I want to see how much he struggles with this.
Yeah, because I struggle with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going.
So did I.
I'm excited to start playing it. I didn't start playing it this week like I planned because I ended up picking up Need for Speed Heat and playing
Yeah.
the shit out of that.
You
And
platinumed
that was
stuff
something
for
I could
crying
not
out loud.
foresee. Yeah, I platinumed it in like 4 days. But yeah, we're AEG is alive and well. I would say we're going to be better than we've ever been.
So, Jeff, what were you going to try to say?
I was gonna say I would like to see Dalton do a stream of him trying to platinum a game.
He should have done it with Heat. He should have done it with Heat.
That would have been a bad idea because I was getting pretty fucking mad at that.
No,
game.
that's exactly that's the
the reason
point.
for
That
it.
I
be
would have
so
just
much
been
fun to
embarrassing
watch.
myself. I would have been embarrassing myself live front of everybody, and then everyone on the internet would just trash me and make fun of me for being a giant.
Either that, or it would have just grown the channel a lot more. You never know,
Or,
man.
yeah, I was gonna say could have gone viral.
Like, yeah, look at this fucking lunatic at
living in
AEG.
mansions. Yeah,
Look at this
living in
fucking
mansions.
Guy
let
out
me-
of his mind.
Let me ask you this: Do you know why people watch Uber Hexer Nova? You know, like
I don't know who that is.
Yes,
but
did
yeah.
everything.
He plays everything, but you know why people love watching his videos? It's not because he's not entertaining, because he is. It's because of the stupid shenanigans that he get himself into while playing Mario Worlds or Mario Maker, stuff like that. People love seeing people get mad while playing a video game, and that's the thing that I just find funny, because people watch this and like, oh my god, he's such a dumbass. Why is he doing that for? But at the end of the day, that's what makes him coming back for more, because they want to keep watching that idiot make a big retarded version of himself playing a video game. And that would have been me playing freaking Monster Hunter, because I hate that stupid game at times, man. And same thing with Sekiro, same thing with Dark Souls, and don't even get me started with fucking Jedi Fallen Order. God damn it.
See, that would be, yeah, like, and like Marlon makes the best point. Like, people like watching people get pissed off at video games. Like, some people have, like he said, has made a name for themselves about getting mad at video games, and I just think it would be really fun to just have that like insight, that like peek behind the curtain of Dalton getting pissed off about hunting for a platinum.
There's two types of people that watch content: either the god tiers who completely go through something and just make it seem like it's nothing, and the people who struggle with it and are funny about it. So that's the thing. So you should do it, Dalton. Even if you don't like it, you should do it.
So look for some streams, some game streaming, because I know like we haven't been known for that in the last couple of years, but that is what we started out on, everyone. We started out streaming. That's what we wanted to do, and then we realized we suck, and then we didn't stick with it. Is really what happened. We got wrapped up in the show, which has been a great thing for our page. Don't get me wrong. We've grown quite a bit in the last year, but we want to go back a little bit. We want to take this back to having fun. We're to the point where it was a hobby and an outlet that we had to hang out and bullshit with each other and not have to grow up. Basically, like,
Right.
we're all
Good way
30
of
years
putting
old
it.
now. We're almost 30 years old now.
Yep.
And we
No
still get to sit
drafting
here.
for us, okay?
Yeah.
That's for sure. No draft for us,
Oh my
okay?
God.
We still get to sit here and talk about video games, and that's what we need to get back to. And it became a point where like it almost felt like this was a job, and I
Mhm.
wasn't getting paid for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why the fuck are you gonna want to do a job you're not getting paid for?
Mhm.
So I want to go back to just having fun with this. We've all invested
Very well
time,
put, my
money,
friend.
and energy, and so you're gonna see less content from us, less episodes of the AEG show, but probably more content overall.
Yeah,
And-
I was gonna say we're gonna be replacing all of those filler episodes of the AEG show with other stuff like the grind, like different random streams that we feel like doing, stuff like that. So I mean, like Dalton's saying, more content, but less AEG show podcast form.
Less pressure on us.
Yeah.
less of a-
ultimately, yes.
Yeah. Less of it like a chore. We don't want this to be a chore. We want to
Obligation.
come in here every episode and have like real energy. Like, we don't want to like, because I know a couple times we faked it. Like, we faked it through an episode to get through it. We still put out a good episode, but we didn't want to fucking do it. We were you know what I mean, we were burnt out. We just put it together. We sucked it up and put it out. I don't want it to be like that. I want
No.
to come out swinging. I want every episode. I want to be like, dude, you guys ready to record every single week? Like, I was excited to record tonight. Like, I'm tired. I was up till
Same
4
here.
o'clock in the morning. I didn't get to fall asleep very early last night, and I'm still here. I'm excited. I'm glad to talk to you guys.
Hell yeah.
I want this to be like it was before, where I looked forward to coming on every week. Not every week, but whenever we would record and talk to you guys, because I hadn't talked to you guys in a while. So
Exactly.
I'm ready. I'm ready to take on 2020. I think all of us are.
Mhm.
We got a new roadmap. We got a new outline. We're ready to go. I'm pretty excited for what 2020 is going to be for AEG.
Hell yeah.
That being said, we're going to talk about the games of the decade. We just wrapped up
Yes.
our biggest year ever, 2019, and So that means the end of the decade. I know some people say no year zero or whatever bullshit. Fuck those people. We said it last time, but we're assholes too.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say we said it in the
We all
lost
did.
episode.
We all
that you
did.
haven't heard.
This guy's really screwed me over with that, man. I'll tell
we
you
were
that.
like, it doesn't fucking count because it's not like once 2021 hits, then it's technically the end of a decade.
I don't
But
believe
whatever.
because-
We're gonna fucking do it anyway.
because 2022 0. I mean, it starts with a 0. Fuck it. Well, you could argue the same thing for year 0 through year 9.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, so-
sure.
There's so many interpretations of it. Who gives
It
a
is the
shit, right?
2020s right now, so it is the 2020s decade. Before this was the 2010s, 20-teens, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Let's get back to the
Teens.
pinstripe suits and Tommy guns, all right?
We are starting the
Exactly.
Roaring 20s right now. Let's just leave it like that.
But yeah, we're gonna kind of run through some games here. We're gonna talk personal feelings, because we are very, very touchy-feely guys. Very,
You,
very
do you really have
sensitive.
to say it like that?
Very
Naughty.
sensitive, especially
So
Marlon.
naughty.
Marlon's very sensitive.
Given
yeah,
the
we're
fact that
gonna
I
start
am
with the,
basically dealing with freaking Battleship right now and an Odyssey, yeah, I'm feeling really sensitive right now.
Are you currently playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey while we're trying to record an episode, Marlon?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to get some of this stupid
Oh
shit
my
done.
God.
Hey, I
What
love
a
that game, man.
scumbag.
Here's the thing, though. I should have played this game when it first came out. I am not gonna lie to you. I
you
should have,
should have.
You couldn't though, because you were wrapped up in Destiny.
which is
Or,
what's gonna get into later on
Or
when we talk
Monster
about
Hunter.
that.
One of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about Destiny. Like you've heard us talk
and
about
Monster
Destiny.
Hunter.
When
Yeah.
have we
You've
not
heard us
talked
talk about Destiny over the 2-year period of this show. We're going to talk about it more tonight.
Butter.
Yeah, it was the reason why I stopped playing a lot of games for a while. I only played like maybe a handful of games in between, and then I'd go right back to Destiny. So, but before we get into that, I want to start with 2010, the year of the new decade. And it's hard to believe, guys, that was 10 years ago. Red Dead Redemption 1 came
Yeah,
out that year.
Right. That was still 360 era.
The weirdest thing to me is 10 years ago, I was still legally an adult. Like,
Yeah.
that's the weirdest part to me is I'm 28 years old. I'm about to turn 29 this year in about a month and a half. So I was 18, 19 years old. I turned 19 in 2010. So I've been an adult since this whole past decade. And that's the weirdest part to me. So I've been
Right.
buying my own games for 10 years.
Damn right.
I'm looking at Marlon's boobs right now.
Woo.
It's I'll tell you something funny about this whole situation. You know, when the decade started, you know, I was 20 years old, and somebody asked me, "Hey, listen, you know, 10 years from now, you're gonna be doing a podcast with somebody's from Ohio." How would I just laugh at their face? I'm like, that's never gonna happen.
Right.
So
Well, I gotta think. Go ahead, Marlon.
So the thing is that you never know what's going to happen within a decade, and you never know what type of games are going to come out, and you never know what's going to happen when it comes to your gaming taste. If somebody told me that at the beginning of the decade that I was going to be into hardcore, difficult games, I would have told him you are out of your goddamn mind, because everyone who knew me in the 2000s knew that I was an RPG guy, and I was just basically a guy that just enjoy easy games like Ratchet and Clank, you know, Kingdom Hearts. I'm thinking games that basically were I could play for maybe 20-30 minutes and just be done and not worry about it. If you told me that I would have spent 5-6 hours on a goddamn raid in Destiny, I would have just laughed at you, man, because that was not me. That was not me, man. And
Yeah,
so,
and I agree with what you're saying, Marlon, because like kind of you just brought up Destiny again, and I'm going to go right there with you on that, and then I'll let you keep talking. If you would have said at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the decade that one of my favorite games would be a first-person shooter, I would have fucking laughed at you, because I fucking hated first-person shooters at the beginning of the decade. So,
Hey,
Go
and
ahead.
the thing about that is, like, that's the opposite for me. If you would have told me at the beginning of the decade that I was gonna be doing tournaments on a racing game, I would have just laughed at you, because I suck at racing games, and even though I play them a little bit, it wasn't something that I actively went out and do. And the past 3 years, doing either commenting on the AG show tournament race or just actually, you know, competing in it, you know, I had fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun, and it was fun enjoying getting better at the track and just seeing how things happens. I even bought a racing wheel, which is something that I would have never done, at the beginning of the decade. And it's things like that you go back and think about it, that you realize, a lot of things can change when it comes to how you play video games or your taste in video games. But that's just what makes it fun. That's what makes it, unique about it, because everybody's gonna have a different perspective, and is gonna have a different views on how they went about it for this past 10 years. And it's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. So if you want to get into how some of those wonderful games that came out in the past couple of 10 years, the floor is all yours, brother.
Yeah, we don't have like an actual true outline to where we have to talk about any particular game. So like, I'm glad you brought all that stuff up, Marlon. Like you kind of did like a little memories tour, right? Like you just said you were just saying like what you were into playing back at the beginning of the decade versus now versus who knows what we're gonna be playing in 2030 if we're even still alive. So we'll update you. We'll update you in 2030. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, when we reconvene and do our roadmap for 2030, that was really well said, Marlon. With the, kind of memory tour of, looking back, like thinking back now, like when in 2010, I was still in college, but I was still like playing a lot of these games. I was actually, at the time, I was doing an internship reviewing video games, which I got college credit for, which is still blows my mind that I got college credit to play and review video games. And then, like you said, like thinking ahead 10 years in the future, like never would I thought I would be doing this, or, where my life has taken me now and everything like that, and what, kind of games I would be into, some of the games that we've even seen come out, and just how much things have progressed in 10 years in terms of video game, quality and, just what people are doing with video games. It's just astounding to me.
Yeah. And I think that's why we're going to end up talking about Destiny a lot tonight, because Destiny is the game that brought us together. 2010, I kind of knew Jeff a little bit. We lived like in the same town. Like,
right.
So like I knew of Jeff. I didn't really hang out with you or anything like that. But like you worked at GameStop in like what, 2011, 2012? When did you start
2012.
there?
I started
in
2012.
So that's when I started. About then is when I started talking to Jeff, because we went to the same elementary school, believe it or not, briefly. He was a grade above me, and I didn't really talk to him. So GameStop, I started going in there a lot, the early 2010s. Jeff worked there along with a couple of other people that I know, and it got to the point where I was like going into GameStop, and I would be in there for like an hour. Like,
yep,
we'd just be bullshit.
We had a lot of people like that, of just talking games, just being able to like, but essentially do what we're doing right now, but just in a retail store
in GameStop. Ignoring like actual customers, and
right. Having conversations about games, ignoring all the moms and grandpas coming in to buy Grand Theft Auto for their kids.
It's definitely been a ride. I mean, and then Destiny 2014 Destiny comes out, and I'm not into first person shooters at all. Destiny comes out. Actually, before Destiny, I didn't even play online games. Like the only thing I ever played online was Gran Turismo, and that was literally just a racing game. I was just racing against other people, so it's not like really anything that I consider like a multiplayer or anything. But 2014 comes around, and I meet Marlon. Right, I was playing with another buddy of ours, a mutual buddy of ours. Or I joined his like fire team at the time, and I joined his PlayStation chat, and then Marlon was in there, and Marlon starts talking his usual gibberish.
I know.
And we've talked about this on the show before, but I'm going to bring it up again because we are going through a memories tour a little bit.
You freaking like sort of guy.
First thing I say to Marlon is, "Oh, where are you from?" And he's like, first thing he says is, "I'm from here. I'm from America."
From here.
I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not."
It's like this. Honestly, when he said that, I was pissed beyond belief. I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell me I'm not from here, man? I was so pissed. But I'm like, you know what?
Bitch.
But I'm like, I'm just trying to be nice, because we're in a party and we're trying to do certain thing. I think it was like a strike or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. I'm like, no, I'm here from Miami. It's like, no, you're not. Where are you exactly from? I'm like, oh, you mean like my original country of origin and stuff like that? And I go, yeah, Honduras. And what this motherfucker says? He doesn't says, oh, okay. No, he says, is that like Mexico or something? I'm like, you fucking sack of shit, man.
Knowing full well that Honduras and Mexico are two different places. I just don't even know this guy, and I'm already busting his chops.
And the thing about it is that he doesn't understand is that Honduran people don't really like Mexicans all that much.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
There's a big rivalry between them because apparently Mexicans, and it's true because when you are in a country that has better stuff than you tend to look down upon the people who are probably have less than you but still think they're better. So yeah, Honduran people don't really like Mexicans all that much. So for me, I took really offensive to that. I was really pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep quiet.
Funny.
I'm gonna keep quiet.
And here we are, almost 6 years later. It's been a little over 5 years. 5.5 years later, we're still sitting here doing a podcast together. we've been doing the show for a little over 2 years. AEG will be turning 3 years old in March, and it's just crazy. Like then versus now, we've come a long way, man, and it's so awesome to be sitting here. Like I said, I look forward to recording with you guys. I look forward to bullshitting with you guys whenever we're gonna be around, and I have a feeling now that we're kind of going back to our roots a little bit with AEG, I have a feeling we'll actually start playing more games together again.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to that. I've been wanting, like, I know Destiny is kind of like, it's over for me pretty much, but man, there's been times where I just think about getting back on and just because I miss playing with you guys so damn much. I don't think I've been able to match those memories. Those are probably the best gaming memories I have. And that's including when I was a kid and playing games with my friends on the couch and stuff. But Destiny, man, I had so much fun with you guys playing Destiny, and it was
we were so into that game.
It was 3 straight years for me in Destiny. I know Marlon recently kind of stopped playing, but still, though, 3 straight years in one game, that's a lot for me. I know some people have been playing WoW since 2004, but
yeah, like Monster Hunter kind of broke you, didn't it, Marlon?
For the most part, yeah. And people were saying a lot of things about Destiny when it first came out, because you gotta understand these things, dear listeners, is that I have put up around almost 3,000 hours into Destiny and Destiny 2. And there was no game that could take me away from that, no matter how much I would play. I would play Skyrim for maybe 50 hours and then I go back and play it, and I would play Pokemon whenever it came out, play 50 hours. I would play Dark Souls, Sekiro, any type of game that from FromSoft or any type of game that had my interest, I will play for maybe 15-20 plus hours. I give it a good shot, but I will never stick with it. I will go back and play Destiny, and I play another 100 hours, and I'll be happy about it. The only game that did that was Monster Hunter World. That game literally was the Destiny killer for me. After playing Monster Hunter World, even with all the issues that the game has, even with all the problems with matchmaking that I occur in there, I just had fun playing it. The whole loop about it, the fact that I could go kill this huge beast and then make armors out of their freaking bones and flesh, that's freaking badass, especially when I could rock it and feel that I became more powerful because of the gear. And it was the thing for me. Like with Destiny, there was a lot of gears that for me was like, okay, I'm not gonna use this, I'm not gonna do any of that stuff with this. There were a lot of weapons and stuff like that I just care not for. But when it comes to Monster Hunter World, I wanted to build every weapon. Even if I didn't use it, I always felt like, oh no, I want to do it. I want to build. I want to create different builds. I want to create different, things that I can do with it. It never felt boring. So, for me, that was the game that just took me away from Destiny. And I'm fine with that. You know, I feel like my relationship with Destiny at points was addictive. It was very obsessive. And the reason why it was like that, it was because of RNG. Because Destiny is one of those games where it doesn't reward time played. It rewards being lucky with drops that you get. And in order for you to get most of the drops, you need to go back and play it over and over and over and over again. And which is fine if you're having a blast and you're enjoying it, which I did for like those 3+ years with it. But this last year, it's just been like, you know what? I had my fill. My cup of Destiny has been full, and I drank from it way too much, and it's time for
over
me
and
to
over
move
again.
on. And it's time for me to move on. And so, like Dalton said, like I want to go back and play video games with my friends because I don't want to recreate what happened with Destiny because I don't think anything in life can be recreated because those moments were just the best. But the fact that I can just enjoy video games with my friends, regardless of the motif or regardless of the game, I think I'm going to be okay with that. Yeah. To answer Jeff's original question, Monster Hunter World, they took me away from Destiny and made me realize that I have missed out on many different games throughout the decade. It made me miss out on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for crying out loud. It made me miss out on Red Dead Redemption 2. It made
never finished Uncharted 4.
Never finished Uncharted 4. Got to the second part halfway to the game and just stopped and
went back to Destiny.
Yep. And I tried to go back and finish The Last of Us and try to see if I can get the platinum. Nope. Went back and played Destiny. Decided to try to go back and play Sekiro and try to get the platinum on that. Nope. Went back to Destiny. And I need to expand my horizons when it comes to games. There's so many titles out now that 10 years ago you would have died with the graphics that we see nowadays. And people were complaining about 4K, people complaining about 8K, but think about it. Like,
shut up and enjoy the fucking fun.
Exactly.
They're video games. They're supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Do yourself
You're
a favor.
not having fun playing a video game, move the fuck on and do something else.
Do yourself a favor.
Or play something else.
Go back to the beginning of the decade when Skyrim arrived, and everybody was saying that map was the biggest up to that point.
Yeah.
Go
Skyrim's
back.
now 9 years old or 8 years old.
Go back and look at that map compared to Assassin's Creed Odyssey or even Assassin's Creed Origins or even Fallout or any of the games that came out after that. And you're going to go, holy shit, have we lost content. The Witcher 3, for crying out loud. Like, it's so many good games.
Yeah.
So many good games.
That you missed.
Well, speaking of those good games, I figured we just kind of run down each year little by little and we can kind of talk a little bit. I know we'll hit some harder than others because I know, there were years where I'm like, oh man, I played a lot of good games that year, and then other ones I was like, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could try to do that. Like Marlon said,
I'll pick out like 2 or 3 titles per year.
Yeah,
You don't have to say basically.
You don't have to pick anything if you want.
Right. Like Marlon said though, Destiny took up a lot of our time. Even for me, like
Especially
I wasn't
2014
quite,
on.
Yeah, I wasn't quite as bad as Marlon, but from like 2014 through 2017, like the games that I did play in between, I would rush through them. Like I remember I beat Uncharted 4 in like 2 days. Like, and that was it. And I was like, done. I'm done with it because I finished it and I'm done. I'm in a hurry to like, I'm like streamlining games to get back to Destiny. And
yeah, shit. I'm looking at some of these titles in those years after Destiny, and I stuck with a lot of stuff, but not nearly as much stuff as I thought I did. Holy shit.
Yeah, I basically rushed Bloodborne again. Any FromSoft game I would have basically played, not extensively because I was just basically trying to get the platinum for it, and that's it. Like for example, for Bloodborne, what I actually did was, and a lot of people did this, was I got to the end of Bloodborne, and depending on how well you do when it comes to the storyline, there's 3 different endings. So what I decided to do was basically grab a USB drive save my file there and just get all trophies from 3 different endings in the same file without having to go back and replay the game again 3 times in a row. And then after that, I popped the platinum trophy after beating Temerian Queen, and that was it. Then I go back.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's start with 2010, of course. It's hard to go back to the memory banks that far. The one game that sticks out to me in 2010 was the first Red Dead. And it's funny because I played it in 2010 when it first came out. I got pretty damn far into it, like extremely far. And then I couldn't use cheats. I used cheats and it wouldn't save at the time. They released a patch later on where you could save after you use cheats, but not like.
You just couldn't get achievements, I think, right?
Yeah, but at first, if you used a cheat, you couldn't save, and I did not know that. And I got pretty damn like I played the game probably like one day without shutting my PlayStation off. I played it like 12 hours, and then I left my PlayStation on overnight. And what had happened was
that was risky back in the day.
Yeah, well, I realized that like I couldn't save after I had used a cheat and got pretty far, and I'm like, oh fuck, well I can't save now. I'm pretty far. I don't want to start over. So I left my PlayStation on overnight. Played a lot the next day. Got almost to the point of I don't remember how far I got, but it's probably about 75% through the story, and then like the power went out or something, and my PlayStation shut off. And lost everything. And I never went back, and I recently beat it. Like I want to say I beat it in 2018 before The Witcher.
It was like right before our 2, right? Red Dead 2.
Yeah. So 2010, I'm gonna say, aside that irritating bullshit that happened to me, that was my favorite game that year.
I'd say for me, big standout is Halo Reach.
Fantastic, good.
God, so fucking good. Not my personal favorite Halo game, which we can all argue about that later, but it's probably my second favorite. It just the atmosphere and just the story and just everything that Bungie had done up until that point, all of those years of building the Halo brand and the franchise and everything like that.
They dominated the 2000s.
They just killed it with Reach. Like it was just damn near perfect.
And that was like the peak of Halo too. Like after that,
exactly.
It was
after Reach, after Bungie left, like as much work as 343 has done, the Master Chief Collection is amazing, and it's a marvel at all the content that you can get. But at the end of the day, all those games, other than Halo 4 and Halo 5, were all Bungie, and they were all made in their minds, just remastered from 343. So I mean, Halo Reach though was just the culmination. Like ever since then, like Dalton said, Halo really hasn't been Halo to me. I haven't had that same, oh my god, it's freaking Halo. Like I'm pretty excited about Infinite. Don't get me wrong. Like that's probably the first one in a while that I've really been legitimately excited, because 4 was all right, 5 was meh at best in my opinion. But Infinite, I'm pretty damn excited for. I think it's also because it's launching alongside the new console, so that probably has a lot to do with it. But Reach was phenomenal.
I'll give you my little bit of memories from 2010. There was a game that came out in 2010 that I played the heck out of that game, and I have some very good memories, very sour memories from it. And that game was Dante's Inferno. And
I forgot about Dante's Inferno.
That game was in 2010. Yeah, that game was.
I believe that
really
game was published
good.
by EA.
Yeah.
Well, was it published or developed by EA?
It was published by EA, but it was developed by Visceral Games.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, the Dead Space people.
Yep. And basically, the thing for me that just like it was published by EA. I mean, it was developed by Visceral Games, Artificial Mind Movement, and I wanted that fucking sequel so badly, but I know that Visual Games is over. It's gone. It will never get them back. But here's the thing for me. Playing Dante's Inferno, there were so many similarities that a lot of people told me that, oh my god, this game is like literally, like it had came out a month prior to God of War 3. And people were comparing it to God of War 3, that it had do a lot of things better than God of War 3. It did some things worse than God of War 3. But the thing for me was that I just had so much fun with that game, because I like mythos, I like religious stuff, I like different takes on those things, because I just find it intriguing. That's just something that I enjoy. Just like when I enjoy God of War back in 2018, where it was a different take on how like the Asgardian gods were presented. So when I played this game, I beat it. I was really happy that I beat it. And then I said, you know what? I want to platinum this game. I want to make this game. And my younger brother at the time had different ideas about that. Basically, what would happen is that we got into a fight, and to get back at me, he went and deleted my save file.
Oh man!
And I was pissed about that, which means that I had to go back and redo and beat the game all over again. And I said, okay, fine. You know what? I'll do it. I'll go back and finish it. I finished it again, but there was a couple of trophies that I didn't get because there was a certain way that you had to beat the game. Like you had to get certain treasures and certain stuff like that to get them, and there's no ability to go back and play each individual chapter. You're supposed to basically get them in one go. And I said, okay, I'll go back and do it. And I had gone
beat the game a third time now.
I was halfway through the game, and I had just picked up the treasure chest that I had missing on chapter 6, I want to say. And then we got into another fight, and he went and deleted the freaking save file again.
Jesus.
After that, I just said, I'm done. I can't go back and get this game, and it's sitting there. The save file is sitting there. The game's sitting there. I have not touched it since since
2010.
September 2010. That's when I stopped playing it. So that's one of my memories from 2010. That's and I would have loved to see a sequel for Dante's Inferno. And
follow the Divine Comedy a little bit, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but no, after Visual Games
it was
closed
still,
down.
For being basically a God of War clone, it was a pretty damn good game. I will give it that.
I still own it. I still have it. So
yeah, like that game's pretty good.
We'll go into 2011 and 2011. My favorite game of 2000. Go ahead.
Sorry, I do want to give a shout out in 2010 for Mass Effect 2, one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
Yeah, fair enough. Probably the argument.
Right. And Heavy Rain. Don't forget about that.
Yeah. Well, hey, Heavy Rain was a good game.
Yeah, we could definitely call out a bunch of fucking games from.
We really can, but
Super Mario Galaxy 2, which I did not play because I did not own a Switch. No, not Switch. Wii.
Yep. But no, going into 2011, like our memories could start popping off, and we could start rattling off games pretty much all night.
Yeah, we really could.
Getting old, so Alzheimer's is setting in. 2011, my favorite game of 2011 is arguably the game of the decade. You could make this argument, and I don't think I would disagree with anybody who this is their personal favorite game of the decade, and that's Skyrim. The hours I have in Skyrim. The amount of times I've bought Skyrim, I fell for Bethesda's trap.
I've literally bought it on almost everything it's been out on.
I own it on PC, PS3, and PS4. I did not buy it on the Switch because I thought $60 for a fucking 7-year-old game at the time was a little bit much, but still.
I almost did just because I'm like, oh man, it'd be really nice to just lay in bed and play that.
Dude, the hours I have in Skyrim. I mean, I did not platinum it on PS3. I should really just put it in my PS3 and go back and platinum it on there and have it twice. But I platinumed it on PS4. That's saying something because it came out on PS4. What 2016 is when they released the remaster on PS4. And I went through and platinumed it.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll check for you now because I'm pretty sure it was probably
2016 or 2017, one of the two.
I thought it was 2016, but it might have been even later. It might have been earlier. I don't know, but. I just know that I've had so much fun with that game, dude. Skyrim, I've actually been considering going back to it again, dude. Like, I love that.
Gonna play the Alexa version of it?
Yeah. No, it's just such a great game. Like, and that's something like when Marlon brought up, like, difference between the start of the decade and difference between the end of the decade. that's one thing that has remained constant for me is I am an RPG, a single player RPG guy, and I have been for a long time now. So that's one thing that's remained constant for me. And Skyrim, I think, is one of the peaks of that. There's another game I'll talk about later when we get into the later years, but
I bet I know what it is.
yeah,
right,
but
so-
Skyrim is. Oh man, I could go on about Skyrim for hours.
I'll tell you
and we don't have
when it
the
came
time.
out. So Skyrim came out November 11, 2011. And then
Yep.
it came out around the same week, maybe I want to say week or maybe a month around when Dark Souls 2 came out. And no, Dark Souls, I mean. And it came out, it was remastered for PS4 and Xbox One on October 28th of 2016, and it was released
You're right, Bill.
again on November 17th of 2017 for the Nintendo Switch and for VR. Here's the thing, like, I want to talk about how things changed throughout the decade. If you told somebody in 2011 when Skyrim had come out that 8/9 years later Bethesda will be in the fucking rabbit hole of disgusting crap that is Fallout 76, nobody would have believed you. Nobody would have believed you that Bethesda dug themselves into a 24 feet hole with Fallout 76, and not just Fallout 76, but all the crap that happened with Fallout 76. And while the game has gotten better, I am not gonna lie about that, the game has gotten better, but the amount of crap that Bethesda has, or the amount of goodwill that Bethesda has lost because of Fallout 76 and because of all the crap that has happened in the past year and a half, nobody would have believed you, you know?
And nobody would have believed, while you're on that topic, Marlon, nobody would have believed you that Skyrim would be the last numbered title of the Elder Scrolls series. It's 2020 at the time of recording this episode, January 20. We still do not have Elder
Been
Scrolls
almost
6.
10 years.
Yeah, so I would have never thought that. Like Skyrim, especially
And
after
it
the
will
huge...
be 10 years. I guarantee you it will be 10 years before we properly get Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, and that's assuming it comes out in 2021, right? Like
We
don't even know if that's
it's
gonna
not
happen.
going to. I bet you I'm calling Starfield in 2021 and Elder Scrolls in like 2023.
God, that doesn't even sound like a real year.
I know, right?
That's not a number. I'm gonna have to look that up because that doesn't
Nope.
sound right.
Nope.
But-
I mean, just
2023.
think about it. Like, listen to this. Within the first week of release, the game had already sold 7 million copies. Okay, it sold over 30 million copies on all platforms as of November 2016, making it one of the best-selling video games in history. But here's the thing, though. It was the Legendary Edition, which came with Dawnguard, Heartfire, and Dragonborn, which was the 3 DLCs that were
I
promised for
forgot they
Skyrim.
released a game like that edition.
So that was released in June 2013. It was re-released in October of 2016. It was released again for the Switch in 2017. It was released again for the virtual reality on April 2018 for the VR. And we got a fucking Alexa version of this game. I want you to understand this thing. In 2011, the only way you can play this game was on a console. Was either on a PC or on a console. In 2019, you can have a fucking Echo Alexa playing your goddamn fucking Skyrim on a fucking fridge.
Yeah,
Imagine
Yep.
that.
it's just crazy. But yeah, 2011's best game for me is Skyrim.
I mean, I'm like looking at, there's a few other games on that list like Portal 2 and Gears 3 that I loved, but yeah, Skyrim without it, like far and away best game that came out that year.
Yeah, for sure.
For you guys, that'll be for you guys. I love Skyrim,
Yeah.
but that was not mine. I'll tell you that.
Fair enough.
Oh, Batman Arkham City was good too.
No, Dark Souls. No, I'm not gonna say it was awesome, but for me, it was
Dark Souls.
It was Dark Souls, man. It was Dark Souls through and through. Front Software, basically, like I play a little bit of Demon Souls, and I think I got halfway through the game. I still have not beating it completely on it, but when I saw the first trailer for Dark Souls, I said to myself, wow, this game is difficult. I even remember watching a 24-hour live stream of IGN playing this game for 24 hours straight. No breaks, no nothing. I remember staying up like till 5 o'clock in the morning when they finally got to Orsting and Smog, and they could not get through that. I believe there's probably still evidence of that 24-hour stream in IGN somewhere, but
I'm sure somewhere in their archives.
They could not beat Orsting and Smog, and they were there, I want to say, probably about 7 hours. And I kept thinking, man, just go back and do some other stuff, man. You guys are going to beat it, but you need to level up a little bit more. And no, they just could not pass through it. Dark Souls for me, it was one of my, if I want to say, not the most, not anticipated platinum that I got or something that I did. It was probably the platinum that I felt most rewarded by the end. You know, it wasn't the most nostalgic. It wasn't the one that held the most, you know, prestige in my collection.
Value. Yeah.
No, but it was the one that I probably felt the most proud that I finally got it. Because I said to myself, because for me it was a challenge, because it was the first time that I was playing a hardcore game that had no tutorials, that had no guidance. It was just like, here you go, beat the game, and if you cannot beat it, well, too bad, you're not gonna get anywhere else. And that, for me, that's holds a special memory in me. And as much as I enjoy Skyrim, Dark Souls was probably the thing that I enjoyed the most about 2011. Now, we could talk about so many games from 2011 that could not make the... I'm talking about Portal 2, for crying out loud, man. Yeah. We're talking about a game that people still want to get a sequel for. Gears of War 3. Gustavo will be fucking furious if we didn't tell anything about Gears of War 3, given the fact that everybody says that the best storyline is Gears of War 3.
I mean, just a lot of great games, man. I mean, 2011 was almost like the coming out party for that kind of shit too. Like, it got better consistently from there. I think games like Dark Souls, because Dark Souls was an RPG in its own right, so it was just a different kind of RPG, and I loved it. And it spawned something like, I know Demon Souls came before it, but I feel like the first Dark Souls is really what got built the fan base. Yeah. It really did. And so I know a lot of Dark Souls fans that never even played Demon Souls.
No, but here's the thing, though. Demon Souls, while difficult, there was a lot more forgiveness in the game, because there was a lot of healing items that you could exploit in the game. There was a lot of healing items that you can buy in the game. In Dark Souls, you didn't have that. It was just, here, 5 flasks. You get rid of them, and you don't have any more. Gotta go back and restock, and which meant that you have to use the bonfire, which meant that you basically had to revive every single enemy in the area. And it was one of those moments where you were thinking, oh, I made a bonfire. Wait, it was those minute decisions where you're thinking, should I heal? Or should I just continue on? Because you're in that balancing act of just trying to go, should I continue more with the progress that I already made, or should I play it safe, leveled up, and get my stuff that I want, but it means that I have to go back and redo that area all over again. And dude, those decisions for a lot of people were hard, because you wasted, which meant that you basically just say, hey, listen, the 30 minutes that you spent trying to get to the top of the tower, you're gonna have to do that all over again. And that is if you didn't die.
But yeah, no, I agree, Marlon. Moving on to 2012. 2012 was kind of a down year for me personally. I didn't play a whole lot. Obviously, we got the last Mass Effect game. I have actually never played the Mass Effect trilogy. I played Andromeda, and I did not like it. But 2012 for me, I think the one game that kind of stands out in 2012 for me, because I missed a lot of games, was Far Cry 3. I didn't really start a game. Like, I played Skyrim pretty much all of 2000. I want to say pretty much all of 2012. That's pretty much what I played besides Far Cry 3. So not a lot for me to talk about in 2012. I'll just let you guys kind of run through your 2012 real quick, and then
Far Cry 3 for me was my big one, which came out really late. Like, it came out in December of that year.
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of the Game of the Year awards had pretty much been more or less finished at that point. Looking at the list, Dishonored, I really like that I love that franchise. And The Walking Dead, the Telltale game, was a big, in terms of like narrative driven experiences, that was huge for me, especially being episodic.
It's arguably
phenomenal.
the most loved of the Telltale games to this day too. So
yeah, of like the quote unquote modern Telltale games, because like when Telltale back in the day did like Sam and Max and stuff like that for PC, those were still beloved by that crowd. But in terms of the modern Telltale stuff,
starting with like The Wolf Among Us and shit like that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing for me. I didn't have a specific game. Like, for example, I really wanted to get into Guild Wars 2. I really wanted to get into Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning.
Oh shit! I forgot that game came out too.
Memories.
Journey, great game. That,
Journey
honestly,
was great.
You need to play Journey. That is just all I'm gonna say about that game. That is no ifs, no buts. You need to play
2 hours.
Assassin's Creed 3. I remember playing maybe the first level of Resident Evil 6 and thinking this game is absolute garbage, but see people say, no, Resident Evil 6 is great, what are you talking about? Like, I said, nah, I did not like that at all. Revelations, I played it for the 3DS, but that was basically maybe a couple of hours into that game. I didn't like it, and people were saying, oh, it's a great game for the 3DS. I'm like, yeah, but it just wasn't for me. What else I can think of? Man, don't even get me started on Kingdom Hearts. That didn't drop the distance again for the 3DS. I mean, you could say Forza Horizon, you could say Assassin's Creed 3, Need for Speed Most Wanted, but honestly, for me, 2012 was just a lot of good games, but it wasn't a year that had any games that will grab me like they did with Dark Souls and or Skyrim, or even, you know, like freaking Red Dead Redemption or Heavy Rain. Like those people, like those things where you just play and play and play and play. Like, nah, a lot of cool games, but not like crazy. I mean, we got Bravely Default too, which I still need to go back and actually beat that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so 2012 sounds like kind of all of us kind of had like a meh year that year. It's hard to remember
overall,
back.
Yeah.
So I could have, maybe I had the best gaming year of my life. I just don't remember it. I don't know. So I apologize to any big 2012 fans out there. I was just worried about the world ending, and I had some other shit going on. So gaming was not my thing back then, if you understood that reference. But moving on to 2013.
I mean, think about it.
You cannot talk about 2013 without talking about the two big titles that year. Two games that are still talked about a lot and played a lot to this day, and that's obviously going to be The Last of Us and Grand Theft Auto 5. Both games, I actually did not buy The Last of Us because it's weird. Like, for some reason, I missed all that, like, the marketing for it, so I wasn't, like, hyped it out all about it. I actually borrowed it from a friend after seeing, like, a late commercial after the game had already come out, and I fucking loved it. But GTA 5, dude, I don't know if I'll ever, like, match the hype of a game coming out that I had for GTA 5.
Amen. Because
that game, dude, I was so looking forward. I had countdowns on my phone that I would look at every day, watch the day go down by one, and then, like, I remember the weeks leading up to it, I would, like, the only person I talked to at the time was my girlfriend and my sister, so, like, I would let them know every single day how many days were left, and I actually took off, like, 2 weeks of work, I think. That's a lot, like, especially when I was poor then. 2 weeks of work to play this game, man. Grand Theft Auto 5, dude. And it's arguably, like, I think The Last of Us is, like, probably my favorite game from that year, but the Grand Theft Auto 5, the hype surrounding that game for me personally is just, it's been unmatched to this very day.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, you know, given the fact that it's Grand Theft Auto and Last of Us was probably the best games of that year when it came to just sales and hypes. And you can make an argument with BioShock Infinite, you can make an argument for Call of Duty Ghosts, that it was another Call of Duty for crying out loud, but, you know, it wasn't the best Call of Duty game, but, you know, still had reputable sales. But
yeah, I played it because it was the only thing on PS4 at the time, like, that I
right.
really...
So the thing for me though, like, 2013 had a lot of good games, but that year, and this is one thing that I want to talk about from 2012, was the fact that 2012 started out with me being really hyped about PS Vita, and
Oh yeah.
and I was really happy about that console because I'm thinking, wow, I'm gonna be able to play a lot of first party titles and AAA games on a console like system. And well, we got fucked up with that. And
The Vita's a great console, by the way.
it's a great
Vita's
console,
fantastic.
but the thing for me though is like it was in limbo for 2013. I was expecting really good games, and what do we get? Another
Nothing.
Killzone.
The unfortunate thing was Vita was in limbo for the majority of its life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to get into that depressive stuff with Vita, but like video games for 2013. Like let's we're not gonna get into so much shit, but let's put it into this perspective. In 2012, we got Borderlands 2, which
God damn, I forgot that came out too.
so in
shit.
2013, what did we expect? We were expecting better, something like that along the lines. We're expecting more things for all these consoles, and we got The Last of Us. Okay, and don't get me wrong, we got Assassin's Creed, we got Super Mario World 3D, but it was.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag, by the way, 2013. That was big too. That was a lot of people's favorite.
It's other than Odyssey, man. It's still my favorite.
Think about it, man. We there was a lot of games that just go through the entire year, and I think I don't want to make it like we're just gonna go down memory lane, just go down, start naming every freaking game out of the freaking.
Well, no,
pack,
that's the thing.
But the thing for me though is this: this year, 2013, was the year that, in my opinion, kickstarted E3 gaming with the release of Dota 2. And if it wasn't for Dota 2, we have not had gotten all the shit when it came to just video games becoming tournament based, becoming like much more than just, hey, it's a tournament here for I don't know, 20K18 or something like that, or for NFL or anything like that, because Dota 2 allowed the Koreans to basically say, hey, listen, we can make a tournament out of this, and we can start making it profitable. And it started getting into freaking League of Legends, and that's what basically just went crazy with this. 2013, after that, bro, look at the freaking video games E3 tournaments that we have nowadays. We're talking about millions of dollars for the winners. Like recently we had, it was like a 16-year-old who freaking won how many millions just playing freaking Fortnite?
Multiple $1 million. I
think it was like 6-7 million or something like that. But Dota was great, and it's one of those esports where people just fucking made a living out of it. Don't even get. I just realized that Flappy Bird came out in 2013.
There you go.
He got taken down.
Got taken down, man.
But yeah, 2013, man. 2013 was a great year for gaming.
Well, yeah,
kind of.
I mean, just Grand Theft Auto, I was like you, Dalton. I mean, Grand Theft Auto Vice City is still my favorite game of all time, and Grand Theft Auto as a series is up there with one of my favorite franchises of all time. And 2013 Grand Theft Auto 5, I was so freaking stoked. And clearly Grand Theft Auto has not gone away. It is still a best-selling game.
Every month.
GTA 5 every month. Every month. I just finished the story again on my Xbox literally 3 days ago.
Yeah. It's fantastic, dude. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that Vice City is your San Andreas is my favorite Grand Theft Auto game.
That one's a lot more people's favorites, but
yeah,
Vice City was the first one I really dug into after 3, so that's why it has a special place. And San Andreas was that for a lot of other people.
And I think that's why I was so hyped for GTA 5. Is like I'm getting San Andreas again, but
Right. You're getting that world.
in great graphics though. Like
Right.
GTA 5 still looks great. I don't know if you played it. Like you said you played it a couple days ago on your Xbox One. It
Yeah,
still
dude,
looks fantastic.
I mean, it's not completely upgraded to 4K, but I mean, damn,
Yeah.
the game still looks good on the current gen consoles.
Exactly,
I'm sure
yeah.
it looks even better on like a PC.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't play it on my PC. I play it on my PS4, but yeah. So GTA 5, man, I think that's one that stuck with a lot of us, and we're getting like at the time GTA 5 came out. So you have to remember we hadn't gotten a GTA since 2008.
Yeah.
So it was 5
It's a
years. That was a
long
long
time.
time. Yeah, it's been now 7 years since GTA 5. Almost, and we still don't have any sights set on a sequel to that.
Not
or
even
nah.
close, man. Rockstar though, they don't need to. They're between now with GTA Online being so popular
Yeah.
and Red Dead Redemption 2 being a masterpiece, which we'll get to that eventually. They're online now finally kind of fully blossoming with that game. They don't really need.
Oh, they're making a killing. They're making so
Yeah,
much money off
They're making
GTA 5.
yeah. They don't
and Red
even
Dead
probably
2.
don't even know what to do with it
Yeah.
with all their money.
But yeah, so 2013, fantastic. One of my favorite years. Obviously, we got our current gen consoles that year. We got Xbox One and PS4 that year. So it was a great year for gaming. My PS4 kind of sat dormant for a while, and that's going to lead us into 2014. My PS4 didn't do a whole lot in 2013, and most of 2014 as well. I played Call of Duty Ghosts and stuff like that, and I'm not a Call of Duty guy. But 2014, man, when Destiny came out, I bought it right away on PS4. Obviously, why would you buy it on the last gen console? Because you got to remember, Destiny did launch on PS3 and
It
Xbox
did.
360
Yep.
as well. So, and I actually know a lot of people that converted their characters over from last gen consoles to the current
Oh
gen
yeah, they did
consoles.
that. Did they? They allowed you to do that like a one-time deal, wasn't
I
it?
think so. I can't comment fully on that because I started out on the PS4.
Yeah, same here. But I'm pretty sure because I was working at GameStop at the time, so I had to walk a lot of people through it.
Yeah.
And that I think if I remember correct, it was like a one-time you can transfer everything over. So it
Yeah,
was
and
pretty
Destiny,
cool though.
Destiny for me, it changed the way I play games. I didn't play games with people. I mentioned that before, and then Destiny came along, and suddenly I'm spending hundreds of hours, just at least like 50 hours a week on this game, and I don't have as much time as our buddy Marlon here in Destiny 1, or damn sure not Destiny 2. I'm pretty close in Destiny 1. I'm maybe a couple hundred hours behind him, which it sounds like a lot, but it's really not if you think about how many hours we've got into that game. But yeah, Destiny, man, I platinumed that game. The Flawless Raider trophy. That's one of my most proud platinums because I platinumed it a little bit later. I think I platinumed it in 2015. So like power or light level was up, and I just went back and did Crota. So it was a little bit easier to do, but it's still an accomplishment getting Flawless Raider for anybody. And I just remember that game, man. Like we touched on it earlier in the episode. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but a lot of great memories that year. And that was when my PS4 really started getting utilized. That
Amen.
and there was a little bit of a lull for me in Destiny 1 when it first came out. I played the shit out of it when it first came out. And then between I don't know, October of that year, because the game came out in September of 2014. And for about a month I played it straight. And then whenever Dragon Age Inquisition came out, I want to say that came out in October.
It was October, November, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, I played Destiny up until that, and then I played that, and I fucking loved it, man. That was my first ever Dragon Age game. I'll admit I never played the other ones, but dude, I fucking loved
The
that
only
game.
one of the three I've never finished, actually.
Really?
Surprisingly enough, I've never finished it. Yeah.
And I never went back to it either, but I beat it, and I loved it, and surprisingly, I've never gone back to it, which is weird for me. For an RPG that I loved, because Destiny, I got right back into Destiny with the launch of the first expansion, the Dark Below. I want to say that's what it was called.
Yes.
And dude, a lot of people like Marlon brought it up earlier. Even Destiny, when it launched, it didn't have all that they said it was going to have.
Oh hell no.
Bungie's been pulling this stuff that they did with Destiny 2 with Destiny since launch.
Yeah.
But man, I fucking loved it. And Dark Below came out, and we had 2 raids that you could do every week. 2 raids, and they were both drop level gear that you could still use, and that's when Destiny was at its peak for me. Was when you could do 2 raids every week, and we did too. Marlon will be the first to tell you we did those raids every week
like
on all 3 characters. Yes, on all 3 characters. Yep.
I'll give you an example. You're talking about the Flawless Raider, how I was your most proud at the moment.
One of them, yeah, for sure.
For Destiny, at least, when getting that specific trophy to pop up. Guess how I got mine? I went to LFG for not LFG the website, but I went to the forums in Destiny, and I was looking for a group to do Flawless Raider because most of my friends just could not do it. Either our timings did not line up correctly at times, and I said, you know what, I really want to get this platinum. I really want to get this trophy to pop up because that was the only one that I was missing. And this had just happened with the Dark Below, and this was right after they patched Crota, where you could no longer do the cheat code for basically taking off the Ethernet cable. I met up with a group of guys that says we can get you through this. We know how to do it correctly. And I go, okay, let me tell you something. We did this with 4 people. It wasn't a party of 6, it was a party of 4. And all of them had Gjallarhorn. Let me repeat that. 4 people with Gjallarhorn went into freaking Dark Below with Crota.
That was before it was broken, or before it was unbroken.
No, it was after they patched the boss. Like before, there were some issues that if you could, he would not line up, or he would basically, if somebody pull up the Ethernet cable, he would just basically sit there and you could kill it, but you could not get the trophy to pop from there because if somebody left the party, that means that somebody died in the game. So basically, we went in there, defeated everything with Gjallarhorn. It was glorious, and we went in there 10 minutes. That's how long that raid lasted. I had never done a raid as fast as that ever. Even when we and Dalton 2-man that, it wasn't as fast as that. And
I forgot we did that.
Yeah, we did 2-man that. We basically went in there with Gjallarhorns and just said, "Fuck it, we're gonna take this guy out.
We're gonna murder everything."
But no,
we couldn't find anyone to raid with us.
But I'm talking about that singers went dawn. When we got to Crota, it was, okay, guys, ready? Yeah, throw it. I just saw like 3 guys with Gjallarhorn. He went down like so fast. I'm like, yo, what the hell? And when I popped it, that trophy popped, I said to myself, any other way I would have not gotten it, because the only way to get Flawless Raider, and this happened with me and Dalton, we tried doing it. It was doing it on the Vault of Glass, and Dalton did it. Like, do you did it on the Vault of Glass, Dalton, or do you did it with Crota?
I did it on Dark Below.
Okay.
Around Crota, yeah.
The Vault of Glass, if you were to manage to get yourselves, like, and this happened to me multiple times, where basically we clear out everything, and somebody always die as when you were going down into the pit for Atheon, when you were jumping up those like platforms that kept going invisible.
Oh, I hated those.
And everyone kept dying out of that, and we were like, "Yo, we just beat this stupid thing for like 2 hours and a half. We're down to the boss." And let me tell you, it was nerve-wracking. Basically, what happened was that everybody except one dude had cleared out all the jumping puzzle, and he was the only one that hadn't done it, and he never done it, or at least he has never done it effectively without dying. And he gets to the last part, and as you're going down the little straight away into Atheon, there's like yep. you're hugging the wall. Well, he hit the top of the freaking ceiling in a weird way, and he fell down and he died. And he was literally like, I want to say 10 seconds away from the door. And we were so pissed. Everybody was so disillusioned by that point. We're like, you know what? Fuck it. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's go kill Atheon. We got him on the first try. Like, we went in there, we destroyed Atheon.
All that asshole had to do was not die.
And we would have gotten it. Everybody was so pissed because we went in there and we beat Atheon on the first go. Everything lined up. 2 Mars runs, 1 Venus run. Got in there, destroy everything. He went down so quickly. Everybody was so fucking pissed, man. The fact that some asshole got the Vex Mythical class and I didn't get it, that's beside the point. But there's so many memories you can think about Destiny. But that's the thing, though. 2014 brought Destiny into my life, which meant that a lot of the games that are going to come out for 2015, I didn't get to play, except maybe Bloodborne. But you guys can talk about some of that stuff.
Yeah,
real quick, yeah.
Move on into 2015.
Yeah, right before we move on to 2015, I just want to point out, Marlon, Destiny came out in 2014, right?
September.
Yeah, 2014, though. So you were what, 24, 25 years old?
I had just turned 25, yeah.
And I was 23.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at us, man. I'm about to be 30 years. I'm about to turn 29 in February, man. It's just thinking about shit like that just blows my mind, man. I wasn't married yet. I didn't have a kid. Nothing like that.
Do it. If I first start talking about the stuff that happened in 2014 with Havoc, with Huddles, with you, I will never forget Huddles coming into the party, start talking mad shit, and saying, I am never going to get married. I am never going to have kids. I am a soul guy only. I don't have to worry. And literally the fucking 2 years to the...
Couple years later, yeah. Couple years later.
He gets married, has a kid, and says, bye-bye. Fucking A, man. It literally, a year after that, you're the one that gets married after.
Oh, he got married after I did, but he had a kid before I did.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
He got divorced like a month after he got married.
Dude.
But
I feel bad for Charles, man. Like
I haven't talked to him in damn near 2 years, but yeah, moving on. 2015, guys. 2015 has arguably my favorite game of the decade. It's probably my second favorite game of the decade, to be perfectly honest with you. Second favorite game of the generation as well, and that's going to be The Witcher 3. Came out in May. Oh my god,
he's getting sleepy. He's getting sleepy.
I'm actually getting really sleepy, but
came out in May of 20.
Pushing through, bro.
Came out in May of 2015. We had Bloodborne that year.
Oh, yeah.
From Software kind of branched out a little bit. PlayStation exclusive title, by the way. And then obviously, one that there's a few on Jeff's little list here that I didn't really play, like not right away, like Rocket League. Like Rocket League's still a sensation to this day. And Fallout 4, which arguably was, in my opinion, one of the worst Fallout games. But
I mean, it's not a bad game by any means, but in terms of where Fallout was, it definitely took a dip. And then it bottomed out when fucking 76 came out, but that's beside the point.
Man.
But yeah, I'm just gonna try to just move through this real quick.
No, I got you, buddy.
I understand that, but we cannot leave 2015 without mentioning 2 games that basically changed, and I would say probably changed the genre. One is Undertale, which basically became everybody's freaking go-to indie game.
Still never played it.
And the other one was Batman Arkham Knight, which basically...
broke the Batman series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still salty about that game.
And I mean, think about it. We got Rise of the Tomb Raiders, we got Ori and the Blind Forest, Fallout 4, which we still have not gotten a decent fucking sequel for that. But
we also got Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which was such a fun game.
You loved the shit out of that game.
Yeah, Marlon actually played the shit out of that game too, which was we were playing a lot of Destiny at that time. So that was like Taken King and shit. Like,
oh, dude, man. So I mean, think about it. It wasn't
not
that good. Taken King wasn't that good. Mad Max came out. Freaking Revelations 2, which was funny because Revelations only was specifically for the 3DS, and yet the sequel was able for all 3 consoles, I think, or
I'm not the one to ask on that. That's for sure.
I didn't. I never played Revelations. 2
Revelations
or
2,
1.
yeah, no, Revelations 2 came out for PS3, Xbox One, PS4, and the Vita, which is funny, but it's like, which we'll get into Bayonetta 2, which was the same thing. Bayonetta was specifically for
Bayonetta 1 was on Xbox 360
360.
and
First.
yeah,
It was on 360 first. It came to PS3 years later because they couldn't get it to run.
and then years later, Bayonetta 2 only comes out for the freaking,
Wii U.
Wii U.
A lot of people missed it. Yeah.
Life is Strange was one that came out in 2015.
Oh, that
Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, we know about that.
one of my favorite games ever.
But here's the thing, though. And when I get into 2016 has arguably one of the games that I probably need to go back and play, which is Uncharted 4. It has
Yes,
one of the
you
games
do.
that took me away from Destiny, which was Titanfall 2, which, in my opinion, is a wonderful game that people should play. But basically, because of Titanfall 1 and how crappy the storyline was for that one, a lot of people did not give it the chance that it's supposed to be giving it.
Dude, 2016 was like a great year for me personally. Like you mentioned Uncharted 4, which you have not beat, but we also finally got The Last
Guardian, right?
We got Final Fantasy 15 that year finally, and that game was fucking amazing, dude. I know there's a lot of Final Fantasy haters out there that, or like a lot of hardcore Final Fantasy fanboys and stuff that did not like 15, but fuck those people. I loved it, man. It was fantastic. I mean, if you didn't like Final Fantasy 15, I don't mean fuck you in general. I just don't like haters.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, you didn't enjoy it. That's one thing, but being a dickhead is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Marlon said, 2016, man, well, that was a great year for video games, and Marlon just didn't get. He played Dark Souls 3 in 2016. I think that's the only other game besides
It's
Destiny.
funny. 2 of the games on the list for 2016, I just finally finished last year, which was Inside, which is one of many people's close to being like a perfect video game. And then the remaster or the re-release of Doom, not re-release but the reboot of Doom. I just played both of those for the first time last year and finished them, and they're both phenomenal games. I can't wait for Doom Eternal.
What if I tell you that I spent $60 to play the tutorial level of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? That's how far I got in Infinite Warfare.
That sucks.
Okay?
I bought
Because
Infinite Warfare simply because of the Modern Warfare Remastered, honestly.
I didn't even get that. I got the crappy version of it. Let's just leave it like that.
Well, that does suck then.
So here's the thing. For 2016, there was one game in 2016 that came out that, for better or for worse, changed an entire genre. And some people are going to say, well, change it for the better. I, myself, I'm going to say change it for the worse. And that was Pokemon Go. July 6th of 2016, that game came out on your mobile phones, and everybody went fucking nuts. Everybody
I'm glad
says-
you brought that up because I totally forgot about. I don't know how, but I totally forgot about Pokemon Go. Completely forgot about it.
Everybody got fucking crazy about that game. People said, well,
That was all people were talking
that
about.
was a maniac of a game when it comes to just how sheer number of people were playing it outside and going outside and actually fucking going out there and catching Pokemon. And
Driving their cars, looking at their phone
I know,
screens.
I know, and the reason why I say that is because if it wasn't for Pokemon Go, we would have not gotten the Pokemon games that came out later on in with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
I love those. God, I love
Because it brought up a lot of mechanics that Pokemon Go had into a mainstay Pokemon game for the console. I think about it, man. There were so many games that have come out over the years, specifically Battlefield 1, which still has some issues, Quantum Break. Let me which one I'm thinking on top of my head. Hitman, the remaster, came out again in 2016.
Yes. Love
Which
those
you love that game. And here's the thing, though. We still have not gotten a proper Splinter Cell game.
Don't make me sad. Please don't make me sad.
We still have not gotten a
Because
proper Splinter.
2013 was when Blacklist came out, and that was the last time we've gotten a Splinter Cell game. and that makes me sad.
It's all right. The last time we got a fucking Prince of Persia game was in 2010.
Also true.
Yeah, I mean, do as man can.
So I don't even want to
Possibly.
hear it from you guys.
But
And that was like an in between quell.
quack, quack. We got Doom.
It was like
man.
in between. I want to say it was in between the Sands of Time and the Warrior Within.
Yep.
But I'm
Something
not.
like that,
Yeah, please don't quote me on that. For those of you out there, it might have been in between Warrior Within and the Two Thrones or whatever. But I don't remember which. But I haven't not played that game since 2010. So yeah, we have not gotten we haven't gotten another Prince of Persia game since the start of this decade that is now over.
Yeah.
So I want to. I'm actually pretty pissed now that I'm thinking about it. So.
Hey,
I
listen,
might
listen.
start hating. I might start hitting Assassin's Creed again. I might have to start hitting them.
Man, if they do a Viking game this year though, like they're rumored they're supposed to, God, I will fucking just die.
Oh, no.
I will be so happy.
I'm all in on the Assassin's Creed franchise now, and
as long as they keep
so.
the new formula that they've created alive.
There's a lot of people online right now bitching. They want to take it back. They want to go away from what they did in Odyssey, which is so stupid. But
Here's the thing. For
That would
me,
be
though,
that would be shooting themselves in the foot.
yeah.
And Ubisoft can't really afford to do that right now.
Not
well,
right now.
you got to remember though, the hardcore Assassin's Creed fans, like the hardcore, these guys are the loud minority.
Mhm.
But you got to remember these people don't. I don't want to fault them. Like I don't want to sit out here and call these people out and say that they're one way or another. But they played those games. They maybe started out back in the day on them, and they were never like RPG oriented.
Exactly.
So like they
No,
were
they
just
were
action.
They were
yeah.
action games. Yep.
Assassin's
So-
Creed Origins kind of like picked up on that a little bit, and then Odyssey took it and ran with it. And
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what had a lot of people kind of upset.
So
No, that makes. I agree with that. That makes sense.
So moving on to 2017, I'm gonna tell you something, Dalton. That's gonna, if you were feeling crappy about all the stuff that you were talking about, I'm gonna give you something that's gonna make you feel really happy. It's gonna make you back into your happy place. And in 2017, brought up a game, and if I tell you the game, the date that it came out, I'm pretty sure you know which one I'm talking about. Okay, February 23, 2017.
Are you talking about Nier?
Yes.
Nope. Oh, sorry. I was thinking it's not the same day as, or no, it was a week before Horizon.
Yes, you're
wasn't
right.
it?
Horizon
Okay,
Zero Dawn
that's what I was thinking.
drop on February 28. Wow, Near Automata dropped on February 23rd. Literally a week,
right.
5 days before.
And then a week later, Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah, what a fantastic couple weeks that was, right?
I know, right? 3 weeks in a row where we got arguably
God,
the
games
3 best games of the
arguably
freaking.
games of generation.
Yeah. Yes, and people would argue for each one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for me, it is like the game. This one for me is kind of mixed because there were so many games that I did not play, and I should have gone back and finished, specifically Odyssey, because I should have played Odyssey a long time ago because I'm playing it
Odyssey
right now.
was 2018, but yeah.
No,
Assassin's Creed.
not
just letting you know.
not
You're in
Assassin's Creed
20.
Odyssey, not Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm talking about Super Mario Odyssey. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's
I
my bad
need
then.
I need to go
I'm
back
the
and play
dumbass,
that game
not you.
because that's one of those like I should go back and play that. Okay.
No, that was a great game too. That was honestly the best game on Switch that year, in my opinion. Super Mario Odyssey.
I don't get me wrong, I freaking loved Breath of the Wild, but Odyssey was pretty damn close to being, more of a higher game on my list that year.
Here's the thing, though. It's like, think about it, and this is the thing for me, though. Let me actually check this out because I'm pretty sure this game came out. Yep. Lord. We cannot leave 2017 without talking about this game, and even though Wolfenstein 2 came out, even though Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is a great game for PlayStation 4, this game, there's a before and there's an after. You guys know this, right? If it wasn't for this game, no. If it wasn't for this game, a complete subgenre of video games would not have come out. Fortnite. This game,
battle royale wouldn't have happened
on consoles the way that it happened, because even though we can say that PUBG was the original, or at least you can say that was the original when it comes to video games, Fortnite basically just took off that entire year. You know, like Twitch went crazy with Fortnite. A lot of games started taking the battle royale formula from Fortnite and putting it into their video games. I'm looking at you, fucking Black Ops. But it
was Horizon 4.
Yeah, shit.
I want to say though, real quick, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad the. I don't want to say the battle royale craze has died down, because it hasn't. But it's leveled out now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not as like in your face all the time. Every game and their brother is doing battle royale.
Yeah, it's leveled out now, and it's to the point where maybe I don't pay attention anymore. But I don't hear about it as much as I like. For a while, all you heard about was Fortnite, man. And I won't lie to you guys. I became a bit of a hater. Like, yeah. I became a Fortnite hater.
You don't have to apologize. So did I.
Yeah, and it's not fair to those that enjoyed playing Fortnite. I want, if you're a video gamer, I want you to play what you enjoy, and I don't want anyone to judge you for that. And this was just me being old. I was being an old man and not understanding kids these days, and Fortnite and Battle Royale. And
old man screams at the game.
It's funny that I even say that, is because I know people my age and older that play those games. Like our buddy, friend of ours, friend of AEG's, Rob. He plays PUBG still. He constantly plays it. Like,
yeah, I just saw him on there earlier today.
If I scroll through my Xbox feed, he's still got clips, like almost every, like at least a couple clips a week up on the Xbox feed. So
yep.
I just don't understand the battle royale craze, but that's a lot of that comes down to me not being a multiplayer gamer.
I think
that plays a big part.
Think about it like this, you know, when we talk about like video games, like we're getting old, stuff like that, we don't understand this stuff, but you gotta understand this. Like, we grew up playing video games like with Atari 2600, at least for me, Atari 2600, SNES, NES, Sega, GameCube.
Shit, yeah.
So basically for me, the idea of a free-to-play game where there's no story, at least, you know, visibly there's no story, and it's just literally for you playing a battle royale where you're supposed to just grab a pickaxe, build something, kill people, and just basically
try to survive.
There was a part of me that maybe understood a little bit of the concept about it, but I'm like, okay, who finds this fun? Where basically you're stuck in 100 players and you may play one round and you don't even last 5 seconds, and then you have to spend the entire round just waiting to win it, or just to move away from the lobby and playing it.
The answer to your question is everyone finds it fun, apparently.
Apparently. So, and if you would have asked somebody, hey, listen, in 2018, 2019, you're gonna have kids winning millions of dollars playing this game.
Yeah,
I would have not believed. I would have believed it if it would have been like how it happened in the early 2000s and the early 2010s, where you had like E3 tournaments for like NFL or
Halo
or Halo, or
Halo
NBA,
was the originator,
or NBA, like sports games. But if somebody would tell me, a battle royale where basically you're grabbing a goofy character with a Thanos skin, killing people would net you 6-figure salaries, I would have just said, what the hell are you smoking, brother?
Yeah.
What are you smoking, and where can I get some?
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on here, because
2017 was
2018, man. That's
2017 and 2018 were bangers back to back.
God damn, I know.
And I want to move through 2018 pretty quick, because there's a lot of titles.
We did a show on our favorite games of the year. So
yeah, we did a whole game of the year show last year. We're not doing one this year, but 2018, real quick, guys. We had Red Dead 2, we had God of War, we had Assassin's Creed Odyssey, my 3 favorite games from last year. What's that?
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter World, Marlon's favorite game of 2018. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
That year, god damn, 2018 was a good
Smash
year.
Bros. Ultimate came out.
Yep.
The end of the year came out in December, but what a fantastic year! Like 2017, 2018 are probably two of the best years of gaming I've ever seen.
Yo, dude, when it comes to just like video games as a whole, when it comes to just cinematics and just like production value, like 2017, 2018, 2019, I don't think I have seen 3 years where you had so many great games that you could make an argument that were games of the decade, just like on those 3 last years as a whole. I mean, think about it.
I mean, I personally, this year, or this past year, 2019, there are games that I really liked, but I don't know if I would consider them games of the decade, other than maybe Death Stranding.
Yeah.
But go ahead and finish your point, Marlon. I apologize.
Basically, what I'm saying is like, think about it like this. Okay, 2018, we got Darksiders 3. We happy for you. We got games like Octopath Traveler. We got games like Far Cry 5. We got games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is arguably a great Tomb Raider game. Celeste, which Dalton beat and talks wonders of when it first came out.
Didn't you platinum that too?
I mean, Detroit Become... and you can make the argument that Detroit Become Humans had some issues and stuff like that.
I guess this year for me, just 2019 for me, just didn't have as many, like really big, like, kick you in the nuts releases, like, you know, Red Dead, Assassin's Creed, and God of War. You know, right there, like...
you can make the argument for Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
But
and if you would have asked me on December 1st, 2018, if you would have asked me what I think about the Assassin's Creed franchise, I would have fucking trashed it. Like, I would have completely fucking wrecked that franchise.
Just flip on a dime with that game.
Odyssey, dude. And then if you would have asked me December 25th, which is the day I platinumed Odyssey, December 25th, 2018, the day I platinumed Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if you would have asked me what my favorite game of the generation was at that point, I would have told you Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was my favorite game of 2018, that's for sure, and that includes Red Dead 2 and God of War. So, like, that was a big flip for me. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I still maintain it as my favorite game of this console generation, without a doubt.
And I can't even dispute that. It's not mine, but it is right up there.
I mean, there's also a few other games that, you know, I truly love, like, but it's up there, man.
It's funny. 2018 had some great games. 2019 still continue having some really
2019,
great games.
and then now I don't want to like sound like I'm just a fucking hater on 2019. Like Resident Evil 2, even though it was a remake, was freaking one of the best remakes probably ever made.
And I love that on Jeff's list, he didn't even put on this list what he considers his game of the year for 2019, or at least what he told me. He didn't even put Days Gone on this list.
I know.
For 2019. What the fuck, Jeff?
I know.
Days Gone
I'm the worst.
I actually played Days Gone in November.
Yeah, it was late. You were really late.
Yeah, and I loved it, man. I played it when it first came out, and I think lack of time kind of got me burned out on it. And
that game's not a short game.
No, it's not. The story is 40, 50 hours. But yeah, Days Gone 2019, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Deserving of Game of the Year, in my opinion. It wasn't my personal Game of the Year. No, but I did almost beat it. I have not beaten it yet. I actually didn't. The reason I haven't beaten it yet is because of time. It wasn't because of difficulty either. Like, I was actually, I don't want to say I was like breezing through the game, because I wasn't, but I was having a lot of fun.
Getting good at it.
Yeah. But you can ask Marlon, like, surprisingly, I'm actually pretty decent at those From games. Like, I remember he got off work one day and I'd beaten the Nameless King.
Don't remind me.
In Dark Souls 3.
Don't
he could
remind
not
me.
beat the Nameless King.
I was so pissed with this guy. Like, I was pissed for an entire week. Okay, because I could not beat this guy for an entire week. He beats it like it was nothing. And I'm like, how
I
do you
beat it
do
on my second try or something like that.
It took me like freaking 4 days, okay? I just could not get the pattern down.
He doesn't even have the words, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll give you an example, and this is the thing for me. And I don't want to talk about Dark Souls because I just want to talk about, for me, 2019 was like what Jeff would say was like a year.
Yep.
Because
same here.
I love Sekiro. I love Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes.
I forgot about Kingdom Hearts 3.
But there were so many games here that I just fucking hated. Anthem. Freaking Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It is
I hated it too.
Freaking janky ass shit. The game could be good, but let me tell you, that fucking game is janky as fuck. And
not sucks, but it's
I
It's
say
not
honestly, the
fair.
combat was probably the best thing
Janky.
for me. Yeah, I mean, it was janky, but like it was really satisfying, fucking reflecting bolts
I
and
like
stuff.
this. I like the story and being in the Star Wars universe. I think was good, but
Yeah.
I can see I can understand where Marlon is coming from.
I got bored. I'm not gonna lie, I got really
Yeah.
bored midway
I
through.
need
and
to
It
go
was
back.
getting rough.
So, for example, the games that I from this year alone that I liked, but were like nah about it. Code Vein, decent game, liked it. Not crazy about. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, great game, but again, Borderlands 3, great,
It was good.
great gameplay, crappy ass storyline, crappy ass script. People who freaking wrote this storyline need to be shot in the foot because they have no idea how to write characters.
I think that's intentional though with the Borderlands
Come on.
franchise.
It's almost a parody of itself now.
Yeah.
though. Like
That's
Marlon and I
how-
have talked extensively about
Dude,
this.
that
Like
look,
the gameplay is solid, probably the best it's
Yes.
ever been, but it's such a slog to get through some of those story bits, man.
do it, man.
No.
I'm talking about like you know when you are in. Let me explain to you. Have you ever? Were you ever in a history class where the teacher drones on and on and on about some minutia incident in 1865 that nobody cares about, and then he tries to freaking make it funny and hip? That literally was the game for me, because there's so many freaking things. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You mean to tell me, and this is spoilers, that you are going to make this little girl who got her mentor basically destroy out of the existence of the world, and you're gonna make her like, oh, you gotta feel bad about her, you gotta make sure that she is the one that's gonna continue the legacy of Borderlands 3. I'm like, you mean to tell me this girl, not any of the more relatable characters in the game? No, this little son of a freaking bitch is gonna be the one that inherits everything that Borderlands and the freaking, Vault Hunters stand for. Bullshit.
Yeah, dude, I got you.
Without diving too much into that, obviously, Marlon's very passionate about that. I support you, Marlon. You know that.
Outer Worlds. And Death
I
Stranding.
completely understand being frustrated with a game, and I also understand how much time that could take up, because you've heard me ramble on about some shit I hate before, so
Yeah.
so you know exactly where I'm coming from, and I know exactly where you're coming from. But yeah, Jeff said it. We got to talk about real quick. We got to talk about the Outer Worlds, and we have to talk about Death Stranding, which
Yeah, Outer Worlds for me, man. That's up there, probably top number 2 for me for after Days Gone.
But let
and
me
Days
ask
Gone,
you-
honestly, real quick, the reason that is my game of the year is simply the story. It was one of the most memorable stories that I loved this year by a long shot. And then Outer Worlds, like the original team that made Fallout went back and made a better Fallout than Fallout, but put it into space.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna ask you. This do you feel like the reason Outer Worlds was so beloved this year was because we have not had a decent Fallout game?
We haven't had a decent that type of game.
A Fallout game, yeah, like Fallout 4.
A Fallout style, like I want to classify it as like a Bethesda RPG.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really had a Bethesda RPG in so long, especially not
not a great one.
Yeah,
Like,
like Fallout 4. What did we say? That was 2015. Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, that was
So, I mean,
good.
It's
It
been
was
4
good.
years. It had been 4 years up until that point. And Fallout 4 was a good game, like Dalton just said. But Outer Worlds for me it clicked perfectly.
I need to finish it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was sick from work. I had a really bad bug. I don't know what it even was, and I literally moved my recliner in front of my TV, wrapped myself in a blanket with my controller, and played that game for 2 days straight. I fucking adore that game.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, I don't want to leave 2019 without saying Devil May Cry 5. We finally got that
Yes.
game.
That game was phenomenal. So good.
And people slept on it. Like a lot of people that I know from my like, oh man, I need to go back and play Devil May Cry 5. I'm like, you have not played that. Are you serious?
You really need to.
I haven't played it
Not a
yet
very
either.
long game.
It's like, yo, it's a great game, man. And
Great game. If you like combat, like character action games, like definitely give
top
that one a
notch for
shot.
that.
But Dalton, the floor is yours. Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding is one I want to touch on it quick. We already did a spoiler cast for this, so I don't want to go in too deep. But Death Stranding, man, that's for like the first about month or so after I beat it. That was my game of the generation. Like I fucking loved that game. Since then, I've put it back a little bit. It's either second or third for me. I'm tossing up between that or Odyssey in the number 2 spot. Obviously my game.
Near, man.
Yeah,
Near
game.
for you.
Nier Automata is my game of the generation. Anyone that's listened to our show before knows how passionate I am about that game. But Death Stranding, man, Kojima's back. Kojima came back in a big way, and I think he made a statement with Death Stranding. There's a lot of haters for it, but there's going to be haters for everything.
Of course.
People can't just let people be happy. That's the world we live in.
They cannot.
No, they
And
really
that's
can't.
okay. Just be happy anyway, and fuck them. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah, like I said earlier, just fucking enjoy what you're doing.
if you
if-
play the game and you didn't like it, that's it. I understand that. I can relate to that, especially
Don't shit on
like
people that don't.
especially like top tier titles. With Death Stranding, I hated it for the first like couple hours, man. The first 2 chapters,
It was tough.
fucking
It was
hated
rough to get into.
Yeah. Then after that, dude, I could not put it down. I platinumed that out of pure joy. Like, it wasn't like a thing where like I have to platinum this game. Like, I didn't even go into it with that mindset. I played it. I turned trophy notifications off for it. It's the first time I've ever done that. Yeah, and I played through it. I enjoyed it like I would a game before trophies came out, and I didn't look at the list. The only thing I did is before I played, I looked at the list and saw if there were any missable trophies, just in case. And there weren't any, so I just immediately clicked off of the list, played through that game, and absolutely loved it, man. Like Death Stranding, it's something I will double dip on when it comes out to PC in I think June. I want to say
I
June of
figured
this
you
year.
would.
But yeah, Death Stranding, bro. What a beautiful game, beautiful story, well written.
Gorgeous game.
Yeah, you could argue like the music, the soundtrack was fucking
Yes.
absolutely incredible.
One of the best soundtracks you've heard in a game in a while. The
Yeah, and I
original,
haven't-
the original score and like the licensed music.
Yeah, and the way they incorporated it into the actual game, like when you're walking
Yeah.
through the world or wherever, get to a certain point and the music starts playing, and you don't want to go to your next objective. You just want to like wander and listen to that music, and it's just
Yep.
that game captured a lot of emotions. A game hasn't made me feel that way in a very long time. The closest thing that comes to mind is The Last of Us, the beginning of that game. But even then, like that game was very emotional too. But like Final Fantasy X is the really big one that comes to mind, and I know you guys all know. Any of our listeners know that is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
But like that game has physically made me cry, and then Death Stranding, dude. I won't lie, dude. I was close. I was pretty damn close.
There
to the-
was
Yeah, fuck.
there was a couple points where I was like, ooh, oh, okay, you're gonna get me.
What a fantastic game, and Jeff, and I think Jeff, especially Jeff and I can relate to it because we're parents, so we can kind of we can
That is a
relate to
lot-
that.
I think that is a lot bigger part of it.
Yep.
Yeah, so we know about that. But man, Death Stranding, that's the note I want to leave it on for me personally. In 2019, Death Stranding was something else, man. Something special.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So I mean
we-
that closes us out the decade.
It does.
And I want to say something like this since we closed out the decade, and I just want to end like this. 2020, the starting of the decade of the 20s. How do we start the decade of the 20s? With a much beloved, a much sought after. We finally get Final Fantasy VII Remake, and while I hate the fact that we're gonna have to get it in parts because fucking Square Enix are a bunch of psycho shits when it comes to just milking every fucking nickel and dime from the gamers, we are going to get a fucking proper remake for
honestly
Final
the first
7.
like major title of the year. Wouldn't you say?
Yep.
Yeah, because that's right before Cyberpunk, isn't it?
Cyberpunk's in April.
April.
You got March. March is Final Fantasy, Doom Eternal, and new Animal Crossing. Then April,
Animal Crossing will be big.
April is Cyberpunk, and then May.
Last of Us
Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, I mean we have one major title from March through May. So
yeah,
Dude,
but
man.
yeah, so
it could be a epic year, a very nice cap to this console generation with the new consoles coming out presumably in November of this year.
Again, though, like we've said it before at the beginning of the episode, thank you everyone who has listened to us over the years. Thanks for continuing to grow old with us, because that's what we're doing right now. We've built a community, and I don't want to say we built it because a lot of these people that we met through here have been here for a while. But we've met some great people. The AAG community is alive and well. We're looking forward to getting into some cool shit in 2020. We'll be here. We'll be here for all of you, and I would know a lot of you have been here for us, and you'll continue to be here for us. So thank you to everyone who's been a part of this show. Even those who are no longer a part of this show, we appreciate everything you've done for us. You have no idea what you guys mean to us, and it means the absolute world to all of us, and we appreciate it. Can't wait to bring you guys some awesome shit in 2020.
Hell yeah.
Any closing statements?
That was mine.
Yeah, I honestly, he hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what I would have said. And thank you guys to everybody that has been a part of the show, been a guest on the show, listened to the show, everything. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts.
Well, I'm just gonna end it with a very specific thing for me, and that is this. Thank you guys. Have a good time. Enjoy yourselves. And 2020, great things gonna happen for you. Let's leave it at that.
Fuck yeah.